Send it.
Welcome back to another Outside the Wire video. First, I want to apologize. I know we've been kind of lacking on some content getting out there. It was a hard year last year for a couple of us, but we're back in the groove. Good year started off, and so we're really kicking butt. And we plan on throwing out some more videos. So obviously, if you enjoy this one or any of our others, just stay tuned in. But today we're going to be testing out some actual rounds. So we have some guard dog body armor here. I'll talk a little bit about each one. I just want to kind of illustrate the fact that we picked guard dog because we know it is an effective armor. I've tested it in the past. As a matter of fact, I've been in love with it since the first test I did on it with their ultra high molecular weight polyethylene plates. Just super thin, super light, and very effective plate. I was very happy with it. So these plates are to illustrate the rounds and how the rounds work. And so the first plate that we have here, we've got a level 3+ from guard dog. We have a level 4 from guard dog, and we have a level 4+ from guard dog. Each of these from, obviously as the numbers climb and the pluses are added at a different ballistic capability. Today's video is not really about that. We may do a video about it later, but either way, the National Institute of Justice and Body Armor Research is a perfect place to go because they fill you in on everything per their testing. And so they'll give you all the deets on that. Right now, we're just going to talk about these specific rounds and how they're going to work. So we're going to go throw these down range. We're going to come back. We'll talk a little bit about the guns and ammo we have today, and then we'll send some lead down range. All right, cool. So we talked a little bit about the plates that we were going to put down range. They're down range now from left to right in ballistic strength, right? Weakest on the left, strongest on the right. Plates are made to their standard. We got a few firearms out here that we're going to test it against. Once we get the initial testing out of the way, we're really just gonna have fun shooting at these plates, just demonstrating how awesome they are. Because they are. I really do like guard dog. So let's get into the first rounds that I want to talk about, which are the ones we're testing today for one reason or another. So we have somebody who makes their own ammo, and he's loaded some AP 308 that he really thinks is going to be an efficient round. I really say AP, but it's more of a light armor penetrator. Again, AP rounds are quite difficult to manufacture. But we're going to test these out from the 308 on each of the plates, even though some of these plates aren't rated for it. All right, so the other rounds that we're looking at are basically we have some foreign nation versions of our green tip, our light armor penetrator, which is, military carries it right here. So that's our green tip, 62 grain. So we're gonna run that against the plates, obviously, because it's the U.S. Equivalent of the rounds that they want me to test, which are these ones are from Swedish. They're Swedish light armor penetrators for their forces, and then we have a Palencian light armor penetrator that we're gonna test for somebody else, just to get that on the books and get some performance testing on them, see how they do. After we test these rounds, we're basically just going to go full ham. So we're going to put some 243 rounds, pretty common hunting round. It's a round that's in a lot of homes. We're going to put that against the different plates after they've already been shot, mind you. So they're going to be already a little bit tested. We've got some 5.56 green tip we're going to send through it. We're also going to send some different ones. I've got some 77 grain from IMI. It's an Israeli-based munitions company. I've got some Wolf steel case. It's not steel core, just steel cased, but it's a pretty common ammo that people carry for training and use because it's inexpensive. So we're going to put a few of these in there. We've got some 22s that we're going to put just from some suppressed. We've got a suppressed HK 416 version of the 22, and then we've got a Smith & Wesson M&P 22 that we're just going to send some 22s into it for funsies, because why not? And then obviously we've got some standard 223, and then we're going to throw some 9mm at it. Obviously by the time we get to the 9mm, it's going to have already had quite a few rounds into it. But I think even then you're going to be surprised with their performance. So without further ado, let's get started to the fun part, right? All right, sweet. So the first round that we're gonna put on these plates, these are the home manufactured. He labels them as 308 AP. I still call them a light armor penetrator. but it's a hefty round, and we're going to put 2 in each of the plates to include the plates not rated for it, just because obviously for funsies. All right, so kind of the gun we're putting it through is a 10.5-inch barrel with an integrated suppressor on it. 308. It's still a fairly new build, so inshallah we don't have any malfunctions. All right, ready? All right, so we're gonna put 2 rounds into each plate from this guy. There was those malfunctions I was hoping we didn't get. Easy peasy. Still got to work on the gas on this thing. It's a new build. Every once in a while it gives me some gas issues. All right. Seems to be a 2 and done gas issue. I got to figure that out. All right. Last setup. Oh, 1 and done on that one. All right. Last one. Boom. Done. All right. All right, so we're downrange with the plates. Obviously, we have some expectations. One, that the plates that are not rated for this round should not stop it. It's not something we expected. We're just going to see what they did to it, how it looks in the armor. But the plate on the far right is rated for multi-hits on this. Not necessarily this round. This is a homemade round, so it could be spicier than a standard, but it should take these hits. So we're going to go ahead and talk through and look at what we got, right? So our level 3 plate, obviously it just ripped right through. It actually looks like the rounds themselves may not have all the way penetrated through. It's hard to tell. We'll have to cut it apart later. But it almost looks like they didn't go all the way through. They got stopped by the backside of the armor. Here we can see a penetration in the 3+, but only 1. And that was probably the second round, and obviously those are fairly well placed right on top of each other. So, I mean, even a plate that's not rated for it, it appears that either both went through the same hole in the back, or maybe the first round took the structural integrity out and the second round penetrated. I don't know. We'll have to kind of, like, when we cut it open, we'll dig in and maybe get some better evidence on that. But it's still really good performance, because they're not rated for this at all. And then obviously Guard Dog's rated plate just sucked them right up. These rounds are, he gave me a little bit of detail on them. They're supposed to be pretty spicy. I was expecting good performance from Guard Dog, because that's what they give me. And, obviously they stopped the crap out of 2, less than 9 yard. We were probably at about 6 yards from where we were, 2 well-placed, 308 AP shots. So again, performed as expected. I'm 1000% sure the muzzle size, the diameter, it obviously was 5.56, but I couldn't see it on the barrel. And I'm running 2 separate calibers of guns here, 300 blackout, 5.56. And if you don't know, a 300 blackout and a 5.56 can be a catastrophic day for a rifle. So if you ever have both calibers out, like we just did, before you switch calibers or shoot any different rounds, make sure you obviously verify yourself, put eyes on it, because if not, you'll lose a gun, potentially hurt yourself. All right, so the next rounds that we're going to throw into the plates are basically the Swedish version of green tip. So we're going to put 2 per plate again. I'm going to shoot a bit of a different region on the plates, and we'll just see how they perform. All right, cool. So the upper that I grabbed did not have an optic on it. So it was a learning curve for the first set of groupings. Everything wound up a little high on the first 2 targets until we could get it kind of dialed in on where that point of aim was. So anyway, the level 3 plate in and of itself, the high shot kind of hit no armor. Expected that would not, really be protective. It's out of the ring of protection, right? There's a barrier within here that says that this is the good part, this is iffy, right? Or not up to NIJ standards. So the round though that did impact here as you can see, it stopped it full on, no issues, still in there, good to go. This one, I hit a little high on it. Obviously, again, that's out of the protective ring. So we put 2 more shots dead center on it on a second run of the gun. And obviously, great performance, stopped the rounds, no issues, just like it's supposed to. And mind you, that's after plugging some 308s into it. And then here's the big boy plate. Obviously, it doesn't even care about the rounds. You're obviously gonna feel the rounds, get a bit of a bruise, but you're not dying today. So, so the rounds themselves, they perform pretty much like our green tip, in my opinion, for what I'm doing now. Let's see, we'll put some different, some more rounds through it and just keep having fun. All right, so the next rounds we have are the Echo and Palencia, made in Palencia rounds. Again, they're supposed to be light armor penetrating. They are magnetic. We tested all of them for that to make sure we were doing that. They were what they were. So we're gonna put 2 rounds in each plate here with this guy and just kind of see what we got. Nice, love it. All right, so obviously these plates have had a little bit of abuse, but let's see what's going on the back side with some of our rounds over here. Again, you know, intended to stop this, but really we've already overextended this plate's capabilities by how many rounds we put into it, and obviously it's still stopping rounds. This one obviously was not supposed to stop that 308, but you know, it's a great plate. I mean, it's definitely performing. So here we've got some more shots in here in this center region. Again, still no penetration where the plate's supposed to hold. Doing well so far. And then, you know, obviously the good plate, we expect the same performance from it, and it is. It's performing above its capabilities. So let's get into it. Next round is going to be the green tip, and then well, then we just have some fun. All right. So last but not least, on the actual testing performance that we're going to do is we're going to throw some of our own, you know, American-made Lake City green tip downrange. Late in the game, still the plates are doing great, but let's see how it holds up against some more light armor penetrators. Wow, so if you got any of that filming downrange, you can actually see the spark and heat from the impact of these rounds against that ceramic. Awesome. All right, so for testing purposes, each of these plates has had so far 2 AP308s, 2 Palencian 5.56 green tips, 2 Swedish 5.56 green tips, and now 3 each US Lake City green tips. So now, you know, obviously the plates should have been, you know, done by now. They're well out of their performance range, but let's take a look and see what happens with those. And again, it looks like the green tip is what finally took this down. Green tips finally came out. But again, you know, we've put more into it than it's supposed to have taken to begin with. Down here, the green tips, you know, the plates already had some wear and tear to it. So the green tips, again, did what they're supposed to and worked the holes that are there. I mean, obviously we'd already destroyed most of the ballistic protection, but I mean, that's phenomenal that this plate held up as well as it did. And then as to be expected, their level 4 plate, you can see there's a little bit of tear from maybe impact. That could be around skidding and leaving. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I figure it would look a little bigger. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, this plate has held up phenomenally well beyond what it was supposed to. Again, this is why I like guard dogs so much and why we chose to use them for the test, because we knew that for the rounds that we were testing, we would get what we wanted. On the earlier plates, it looked like we could say that the 4 and 5.56 did not work as well, but that's obviously not true, because by the time we got the green tip on there, we had already put some wear and tear on the plates. I think that all those rounds basically performed about the same ballistically. Had we switched the order of shooting, we probably would have got the same result. The plates themselves held up exceptionally well, considering the first 2 rounds we put into it breached the limit of any plate on the market. So they held up exceptionally well, and it wasn't until we put them into the real ringer that we started seeing them fail, which nothing has a permanent lifeline, especially when you're putting rounds into it. So from this point, now we're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna just lay some hate of some different rounds in there. All right, so just so we know, these plates have some life in them, and obviously it's just fun to shoot things. We're gonna run some different rounds through them. I'm gonna start into some pistol stuff. I'm gonna first engage it with my carry rounds. Most of the time I carry a Glock 43X 10 round magazine with just ball ammunition. I thought about just leaving that and watching the comments burn, but I'll explain why I do it. Oftentimes, living so close to Philadelphia, I find myself driving through Philadelphia with somebody who doesn't know that I'm carrying, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh yeah, we're going here, crossing into Jersey. And so if I don't have a legally carryable gun for a license in Jersey, then obviously that can get me hemmed up. So instead of switching guns at state lines and storing one gun, I just carry a gun that's tri-state legal, well, as tri-state legal as possible. We're gonna shoot some ball right into it, training ammo. We'll probably shoot that into our softer plate. And then I've got the Liberty Civil Defense, excuse me. These are 9mm plus P. These move at 2,000 feet per second, right? So they're flying through the air. They're super light though. They're only a 50 grain projectile. So I want to see what they do against a plate. So, haha. And then I've got some LE Flex Lock 9mm Luger critical duty law enforcement rounds. We're just going to put some of those into our far right plate and see how those hold up. Here's the rounds, the Hornady there with the copper jacket, and then the fast little buggers with the silver bullets there. There we go. There we go. There we go. So the next ones that we're doing are the critical defense. These guys are the 50 grain, 2,000 foot per seconds, going into the middle plate. And then last but not least, we have our Hornady law enforcement rounds going into Big Daddy plate over there on the right. All right, so in after some pistol rounds, let's see, no new penetrations. Pretty much looks like the pistol rounds didn't go through, obviously. So the plates are still stopping pistol rounds. Same back here, still stopping pistol rounds. Same here. Those are the law enforcement, pretty powerful rounds supposedly. Never been shot by one. Don't ever plan to, but they're still stopping these pistol rounds. So let's shoot some more guns at them. So a pretty common hunting round is a 243. This is my daughter's hunting rifle I bought for her. 243 is a great first caliber for kids. It's also just a great all-around hunting caliber. So it's a pretty common caliber scene. So obviously I picked it. Being common, we're going to put one each of a 243 into these plates. Obviously after we've already beat them up a bit. So here we go. Nice, fiery for these plates. All right, so post 243. That thing had some pizzazz. I love that gun. It's a great hunting rifle. So let's just see. I mean, we've got some bowing and damage back here where we've had the previous damage. No new holes. This thing's taken pretty much almost all the rounds here and here. It's still doing exceptionally well for how bad it's been shot up already. And then we come into our next plate. Nothing new. 243 didn't penetrate. And then of course, the one that I actually have in my kit as a set. Oh, still no holes. So, yeah. This good plates, man. Love it. Love it. Guard dog body armor, man. I ever since I tested the first one, I've just been in love with them. I was not expecting that plate to hold up to the 9 mil that it says it was going to hold up, let alone we put 5.7 on it. From, I think we were at 7 yards. Maybe I'd have to go back to the old video, but whatever it was, we put 5.7 on it and it laughed at it. So ever since then, I've been a huge fan of Guard Dog, and as you can see, their plates perform. I don't really have to sell them; they sell themselves. All right, so we're gonna just throw some suppressed 22 pistols at it because I don't know, Hollywood. I don't know, it's cool, fun. I don't know, whatever. It makes a cool sound when I shoot. So sure, I don't know, but let's see. Safety, gross. Anyway, let's get her done. I like it. See, that's super quiet and fun to shoot. I mean, why would you not do that just because you can? America. So anyway, I'm loading up some 300 Blackout. This might potentially be my bedside gun. I don't want to shoot my bedside ammo because they come from Lehigh Valley, and well, they're expensive, and I like them a lot. So we're gonna shoot some Armscore. I didn't even look at the grainage. I probably should have looked at all that and gave you the details, but fuck it, right? Do it live. All right. Sick. All right, so bed gun, 300 Blackout, Omega 300 suppressor. I love it. If I wake up in the middle of the night to have to shoot an intruder, I don't want to have to look for ear protection. All right, so this is some Armscore 300 Blackout. Again, this is my bed gun. I like it. Pretty sick gun. Built it myself. All right, so let's put some rounds into these plates. Woo! Love it, man. God, so sexy. All right, so we put a ton of rounds through these things. Some pistols, some carbine, some light armor penetrators, just a gambit. So I'm done shooting for my purposes. I've had my fun for the day. So I just wanted to look at the plates one last. So, I mean, 300 Blackout, carbine, everything else. This is just a level 3 plate. It's not meant for any of what we did do it today, but obviously the pistol still hasn't started penetrating it. The 300 Blackout came pretty much center mass. So, I mean, it could have come out of this massive damage, but obviously at that point the plate has already done what it's supposed to and lived its life. If you get shot twice in the chest, don't continue to fight with that plate. All right, so let's look at the middle of the line plate. I mean, the 300 black, I was just zipped right through the burning, but didn't come out the backside. So I mean, that's really what matters. Trajectory is looks in and up by the burns, coming in that way. So the holes should be here. So obviously this plate is still stopping 300 blackout. And then let's see the big boy plate. Yeah, other than where I put a 308 armor piercing round outside of the plate's capability is a little bit high, right on the edge of that line. Like I said, there's a line around the plates that's not full strength. So other than that round that was intentionally a 308 AP and hit high, nothing else has seemed to come through. I don't see any penetrations. Yeah, tear off some of the sticker. It looks pretty good to me. Again, just an attestation to their quality. Good plates, good people. Obviously, as you can see, if you have something you'd like to see or questions you'd like answered, if you get in touch with us, email, call us, jump on our Teams chat, whatever, and just throw that question out there. We'll see if we can put together a video with an answer, reach directly out to you. Without further ado, later from Doc, I'm gonna let Matt have some fun. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it! Knew it! Son of a bitch! We need a bigger table. Put that on the purchase list. Bigger effing table. I bet that's a website. I bet you can go to biggereffingtable.com and find a bigger effing table.
Send it.